What if I told you that your overflowing closet is actually making you poorer? What if I told you that every great deal you buy is stealing your chance to live the life you've been dreaming about? Most people fall into a trap they don't even see coming. It's the trap of endless consumption disguised as self-expression, success, and self-care. And this trap keeps us locked in a financial and emotional prison that's incredibly hard to escape. My name is Elena, and I'm just a regular working person who decided to take control of my life. Studies show that the average person uses only 20% of what they own on a regular basis. Think about that for a moment. 80% of what you paid for, what you carried home, what's taking up space in your home, just sits there as dead weight. And this isn't just about clothes. It's the half-empty skincare products, the kitchen gadgets you used once, the books you meant to read, the gym memberships you don't use, the video games you never finished, the tech you upgraded before the old one stopped working. It's hundreds of small purchases that seem necessary in the moment but now just create chaos in your space and your mind. But here's what's worse. It's not just about the stuff, it's about how much of your life, your energy, your potential has been spent earning money to buy things you don't actually need. But what if there was another way? What if there was an approach that could free up your finances, your space, your mind, and finally give you the freedom to live the way you actually want? The real secret of strong, independent people isn't about the quantity of things they own. Actually, it's the opposite. The most fulfilled people I know, regular working people who figured it out, live much simpler than it appears from the outside. They've realized something important. Everything in your life either adds energy to you or drains it. Here's where things get interesting. If you can develop the skill of conscious consumption, you'll immediately be ahead of 70% of your peers, not because you're giving up everything good, but because you've learned to distinguish real value from the illusion of consumption. Think about what stuff represents in your life. For many people, it's emotional compensation. Rough day at work, I'll buy myself something nice. Relationship problems, retail therapy, boredom, scrolling through online stores. Comparing yourself to others, need to buy the same thing. Feeling behind in life. Maybe this purchase will make me feel successful. The question isn't whether you can afford the purchase. The question is whether you're ready to stop using consumption as a way to fill emotional voids and start building the real life you actually need. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but I work hard, I deserve these things. Or, I can't wear the same stuff all the time. Or maybe, minimalism is for people who can't afford nice things. All these thoughts miss the most important point. Let me share my story. A few years ago, I was working my regular job, making decent money. But I constantly felt drained. My closet was full, but I always had nothing to wear. I bought new things every week, but the satisfaction lasted maybe a day or two. I thought the next purchase would finally give me that feeling that I'd made it, that I was enough. And then something happened that changed everything. I had to move, and I came face to face with the incredible amount of stuff I'd accumulated. Hundreds of items with tags still on, shoes I never wore, skincare products past their expiration date, tech I'd upgraded for no real reason, items worth thousands of dollars that added nothing to my life. In that moment, I realized I wasn't building a better life. I was building a warehouse of unnecessary stuff and calling it success. I was working to pay for things that didn't make me any happier. When you start practicing conscious consumption, something incredible happens. You begin developing the habits and mindset of truly fulfilled people. You become more intentional. You start paying attention to where your money and energy are going. You learn to distinguish real needs from artificially created wants. You develop the discipline that separates people who build real lives from those stuck in the consumption cycle. So how do you actually start living more consciously? There are several approaches, and the most successful people use them in combination. Let's start with your wardrobe. This is the biggest trap for most of us. The fashion industry is built on making you constantly feel like what you own is outdated. New collections every season, trends that change monthly, advertising whispering that you need more. But here's the truth. A capsule wardrobe with 30-40 quality, versatile pieces gives you significantly more options and freedom than an overflowing closet with hundreds of impulse purchases. Instead of buying 10 cheap shirts per season, invest in 2 to 3 quality ones that will last years. This isn't about being cheap. This is about investing in quality over quantity. For guys, this might be even more relevant than you think. How many t-shirts do you actually wear? How many pairs of sneakers sit in boxes? How much gym gear do you own versus actually use? The gaming equipment you bought but barely touch? The investment pieces you were told you needed? Then there's everything else: skincare, grooming products, supplements. The wellness industry is one of the most manipulative. New revolutionary products appear constantly, each promising transformation. The result? The average person has 40 plus products they rarely use, with maybe 5, 7 they actually need. A simple audit of your stuff can be eye-opening. Throw out everything expired. Donate what you don't use. Keep only what actually works for you. Then implement a rule: new purchase only when something runs out. Your everyday spending is another source of unconscious consumption. Coffee runs, spontaneous online shopping, food delivery instead of cooking, ride shares instead of public transport. Because I'm tired. Subscription services you forgot about, in-app purchases that add up, investments in hobbies you abandoned. These small decisions seem insignificant, but accumulate into hundreds or thousands of dollars every month. Now let's talk about your space. Every item in your home takes up not just physical space, but mental space. When your apartment is overflowing, your mind is also overloaded. You spend energy maintaining, organizing, and just navigating through all of it. A minimalist space isn't empty white walls. It's a space where every item has its purpose and brings you either joy or utility. It's a space that supports your goals rather than distracts from them. And now the most interesting part: what happens when you truly change your approach to consumption? Let's calculate specifically. The average person spends approximately $200 to $300 per month on unconscious purchases: clothes they don't need, products that sit unused, decor that collects dust, entertainment that brings no real joy, subscriptions they forgot about, upgrades they didn't need. If you cut these expenses in half and start investing the difference, let's say $150 per month, here's what happens. Over 5 years, your investments turn into approximately $1,150 instead of $9,000 you would have simply spent and forgotten. Over 10 years, that's about $29,000 instead of $18,000 in purchases that left no trace. Over 20 years, you'll have over $100,000 working for you instead of a room full of stuff that lost its value long ago. But the biggest transformation doesn't happen in the numbers. It happens in your life. When you stop chasing stuff, you gain something far more valuable: time, energy, mental clarity. You're no longer spending weekends wandering malls or scrolling endlessly online. You're no longer spending hours deciding what to wear among hundreds of options. You no longer feel guilt about money spent on things you don't use. Instead, you start investing in what truly matters: education, experiences, travel, building skills, health, relationships, things that actually make your life richer. You start building a life, not a collection of stuff. And here's the psychological shift that changes everything. When you see your freedom growing, financial, emotional, creative, you don't want to go back to the old way. Shopping stops being entertainment. You start seeing through marketing manipulation. You understand the difference between a real need and an artificially created want. You start looking for ways to simplify your life even more. You invest in the best you can afford and use it for years. You surround yourself with things that support your goals, not distract from them. This mindset shift separates people who build real freedom and independence from those who remain trapped in the endless consumption cycle. But the hardest part isn't the philosophy. It's the discipline. Every week you'll face temptations, sales, new releases, friends buying and showing off new stuff, ads telling you this thing will make you happier, more attractive, more successful, influencers displaying perfect lives filled with products, FOMO on limited editions, the dopamine hit of clicking buy now. These moments will test your commitment to your future. People who succeed create systems that support them. They unsubscribe from marketing emails. They stop browsing stores just to look. They implement a 30-day rule. If you want to buy something, wait a month. 90% of the time, the desire passes. They surround themselves with people who share their values. They consume content that supports their new mindset rather than undermines it. They track their progress and celebrate wins that aren't purchases. And here's what's important to understand. This isn't about deprivation. It's about choice. You're not giving up nice things. You're choosing to invest in your actual life instead of creating an illusion of a life through consumption. You're choosing freedom over dependence on stuff. You're choosing quality over quantity. You're choosing an intentional life over automatic response to marketing. When I started this journey 5 years ago, I couldn't imagine that less stuff could mean more life. But today, even though I still work my regular job, I have a financial safety net, the ability to travel when I want. I can afford experiences that matter to me, and most importantly, I have peace and clarity that never existed when my life was overflowing with things. I'm in control of my life, and that feeling is priceless. This is available to you too. It doesn't require radical overnight changes. It requires one decision at a time, one conscious choice at a time, one day at a time. Start small. Choose one area, wardrobe, personal care, your living space, your subscriptions, and start there. See what changes. Feel the lightness that comes. Then expand it to other areas of your life. Every item you let go of creates space for something more important. Every impulse purchase you don't make is an investment in your future. Every conscious choice brings you closer to the person you want to become. And remember, you're not just changing your spending. You're changing your life. You're taking responsibility for your own happiness and building the foundation for real freedom. Financial, emotional, creative. Less stuff truly means more freedom, more space, more opportunities, more life. Ready to start? Drop a comment about which area of your life feels most cluttered right now and where you'll begin. Let's support each other in this transformation. And if this video resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. We're stronger together. See you in the next video where I'll show you exactly how to build a capsule wardrobe that works for you, not against you.